Good afternoon, Jim Whitehead here. How are you? Today, we're going to talk about a mystery. It involves astrology, animals, and an astrologer, and a mystery. So here we go. Okay, a lot of folks put a lot of faith in astrology. The stars, the planets, how they line up. And, if we want to think a little bit about it, we wouldn't sit here and go, that's silly. When in today's world, I'm old enough being 75 to say, it could happen. It could be true. And I don't mean politics. Nothing's true in politics. Only kidding. I don't want to get in trouble here. But anyway, okay, let's get going here. As you see, that's a picture of astrologer. And she does astrology. Anyway, moving along, Julia Bonatti uses her expertise in astrology to provide insight into people's lives. But she never expects that her skills will lead her into a dangerous mystery. And this takes place, and of course there's got to be fog, in San Francisco, as you can see. And this is the astrologer. And she basically is, Julia is actually writing this to see what basically happens. Okay, now as part of and getting the other folks in, the folks that are, part of the story, we have Detective Mike Vargas. He's a no-nonsense investigator who initially doubts Julia's abilities in the sense of astrology outcomes, but he grows over time to respect her insights as the case unfolds. When people start dying under suspicious circumstances, Julia discovers that their deaths are tied to astrological patterns The tail of the dragon refers to a specific astrological aspect known as the dragon's tail. You can see that's hopefully a pretty good representation of the dragon and its tail. And again, it's around the moon, so it's, using the planets and everything lined up as to making some choices. Anyway, the dragon's tail, which represents past lives, karmic ties, and hidden dangers. I love these, by the way. You always like a good story, a good, mystery. Okay, the story is set in the foggy streets of San Francisco, where Julia is called upon by friends and clients to solve problems using astrology. However, when a prominent client dies, Julia suspects foul play. And as more deaths occur, all seemingly linked to the stars, Julia begins her investigation. She uses astrology to make sense of the clues studying birth charts, planetary transits, and the mysterious link between the victims. And as the plot thickens, Julia delves deeper into the world of astrology and finds a pattern among the victims' astrological signs, both their own and their pets. Now, I know you're probably going along here saying, I thought you were an Animal Channel. So I am. But what we try to do is kind of bring different angles to it, which hopefully is a benefit to everybody. Anyway, Julia's knack for reading astrological charts proves to be instrumental in narrowing down the suspect's list and discovering hidden motives. You know, I did the mystery Baskerville a couple days ago, and again, it's all based on, you know, thoughts and what they think is going to happen. Along the way, she deals with various quirky characters, including fellow astrologers, mysterious strangers, and local law enforcement. And I already showed you him representing the detective force. And as mentioned, he was like, yeah, this astrology is silly, and there's no way you're going to be able to follow the signs and solve cases. But he sees different. Local law enforcement who are skeptical of her methods. But again, I say it's not how you get there, it's getting there. So anyway, the key themes, astrology and destiny. The novel explores the idea that celestial bodies influence the lives of individuals and the unfolding of events. Julia's knowledge of astrology allows her to uncover hidden clues and navigate the complexities of the case. Not only do astrological signs of people play a role in the mystery, but the signs and fates of animals are also critical. Now, we don't want anything to happen to animals, but remember, this is a book. So when my wife and I are watching, let's say, a crime drama or something, and she's like, oh my God, that's terrible, that's terrible, that's terrible. I said, well, honey, it's not real. And that's how I, how would you say, put my mind at ease when I'm talking about animals dying. And in this case, she's using some of these animal deaths to put more pieces together for the puzzle. Julie's ability to read animals' astrological charts adds a unique and mystical layer to the story. The mystical versus the rational. Like many cozy mysteries with a mystical element, the story balances belief with in supernatural or mystical forces with real-world crime-solving techniques. And, you know, I've had the pleasure of watching some of these, and, you know, one thing that comes to mind, the movies we've watched where they're trying to find a person that basically is killing people, and they use, let's say they're a multiple killing spree. There's clues and what have you beyond just physical evidence to help come up with the answers that they need to find out who's doing this or who did it, etc., etc. Julia must convince others that astrology can reveal vital information even as she contends with the logical minds of investigators. Yeah, I mean they get so used to. One of our favorite shows we watch a lot is one of the FBI's. There's a lot of them, and I appreciate the fact that, typically how this goes. The beginning of the show, something bad happens, and then the show unfolds into all the things they had to do to come up with who, why, when, where. So anyway, Julia Bonatti, the protagonist, an intuitive and resourceful astrologer, she deeply is compassionate and uses her unique skills to help others. But she often finds herself in danger because of her curiosity and desire to uncover the truth. So the victims and their pets, a diverse cast of characters, each connected by strange astrological coincidences. Their pets play a role in uncovering important clues that Julia uses to piece together the mystery. Animals don't talk like we do, but I never feel that animals are not smart, and they have better senses than we do. Unfortunately, because we see things, we hear things, we kind of go on those two big dimensions, I guess you might say. And animals have to think, I don't want to say outside the box, outside the cage, but they think differently than we do. And if you're saying, I'm trying to come up with a solution, and we would be, as humans, say, well, I only see a couple solutions. Well, animals, because again, their whole concept of thinking and their sense of smell is much better than we have. Their eyes are good, although they don't see all the colors that we see. But that in itself doesn't make too much trouble. But they also sense things, and things that we can't sense. Hearing. We talk about hearing. In fact, I don't hear real well. I had tonsillitis when I was 4 years old, and my left ear's a little messed up. But animals hear and use that in their daily life. And it certainly is a heck of an idea. They can see well. They can smell much better than we can. So that's wonderful. In fact, with training of service dogs, I watched a show a week or so ago where they go through training these wonderful animals. And part of what they're being trained for, besides being a companion to, let's say, somebody that has PTSD or has is retarded, can't function, they don't have all their arms and legs. So they bring these animals that their whole life and their training is based on helping someone else. I did in fact, I was in a supermarket 3 or so weeks ago, and there was a little dog. I was sitting next to a gentleman. We were at the pharmacy, and he introduced me, and he said, "This is my service dog." And it was a little cute little service dog. And he is ex-military, and he's got some issues. He's got some breathing issues. He can't get around as well. And this little service dog right by his side, and he mentioned to me that he gets, because of his chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, because he was a heavy smoker. By the way, if you can, I used to try to talk people out of smoking because I'm a respiratory therapist by background many years ago. But I realized that you can't talk people out of smoking because it is such an addictive practice. But he occasionally, and one reason he has a service dog, he will go into a phenomenal coughing spree. And to the extent where he actually has trouble breathing. I understand that when you're coughing, and you can't catch your breath, that's not good. So this little doggy was taught, and will go to somebody near him does not know what's going on, and in essence says, please come with me. The person I'm taking care of is having a problem. So, wow. Little dog. And again, I took pictures of the dog, and as I said, I did a I think a live production on it because, again, this is the Animal Channel. So, in The Tale of the Dragon, Julia's astrological knowledge leads her to an unexpected and chilling revelation about the true nature of murders. The killer's motivations are tied to deeply rooted astrological beliefs, creating a satisfying twist that intertwines celestial influences with human actions. And it's like with anything, you try to make sure if you've got to look at a problem that you're looking at the problem from all directions. Too often, and thank goodness as you get older like I am, you have a lot of basis of past experiences that weren't always right, weren't always the best in the world, but when you put them all together, you can come together and say, this is what I've learned over the last 75 years. And it's wonderful to still be alive, and have the opportunity to do things like this. I hate for the day that comes when I'm not able to carry on a sentence or finish a sentence. You're saying, Jim, you always seem like that a little bit. I know, I go off on little tangents. But anyway, the novel offers a cozy and entertaining read, perfect for mystery lovers who enjoy a touch of the mystical and an engaging, unconventional detective. Julie's blend of intuition, astrology, and determination makes this series stand out in the cozy mystery genre. So, anyway, there you see The Tale of the Dragon, and I really appreciate. And, I try, every day it's like, what are you going to do today? Now, part of YouTube, and yes, I have done it a long time, but I've only been doing it full time for about a year and a half, give or take. You get better at what you do. You learn a lot about what you're actually presenting. I don't just read everything and not get it. I look for hopefully interesting, different type stories. And I really, it's the old, when you get somewhere, you say, I actually enjoyed getting here better than actually now being here. And that's exactly what happens here with my presentations, is I learn a lot. And you have to organize it. And you've got to find, you might say, material, both written and certainly images that kind of help get this into the mind of the folks that I'm doing this for. But anyway, love you being here. Thank you very much, and I'll look for you in the next one. You know, I know everybody said, "Oh, subscribe." You watch. I'm over 1,000, and I know I say this every once in a while. Well, that's one hurdle to get to. But where the problem is, and a lot of folks, and I'm going to be doing a short after this. I don't have my because the two components is subscribers, and you got to be 1,000 or more. I think I'm 1,020, probably a little higher than that. But my watch hours are terrible. So that's one reason why you say, well, why do you do these longer things? I said, well, try to get some of my watch hours so that sooner or later I fall into what we call monetization. And although you'd say a year and a half and you haven't received money, that's okay. You know, the point is, I learn something new every day, and it keeps my mind active. Because if you're sitting here doing the same thing every day, or you're playing games every day, that's not good. You got to challenge yourself. And putting together a program and the technical nature of the equipment you use, you know, we've got cameras, we got microphones, we have software that helps us present it. I can go on and on and on. And, you know, that's why occasionally I look over to the side here, because I have a couple other monitors over here. And one way off to the right is my mic. And yes, unfortunately, I have done presentations where, and sometimes you know why, other times you don't. All of a sudden the sound stops. You haven't moved, you're still sitting in the same chair. No one's here fiddling around with anything. It's just all of a sudden it decides, I'm gonna mess it up for you. So, you know, it's always you and with live, you're live. Can you edit live? Yes, but not really well. I mean, you know, when I do a presentation that I record, basically you can go in and I've got multiple different editing choices. One of my best, I use Canva for thumbnails and titles and things like that. I also use that for shorts. And the problem with shorts, by the way, I know you wanted to know, there's no watch hours generally, because shorts have to be 59 seconds or less. I'm hoping that YouTube is going to kind of expand that a little bit, because believe it or not, one of the other programs I use is called LTX Studio. It helps me make other videos. It has it where, you know, a lot of times it's a minute and 5 seconds, and that's not going to be considered a short, even though it's short. It's going to be considered a long. Can you edit that down? Well, you can, but you certainly don't want to have it where, what happened to the ending? It's not there. Well, I had to bring it down less than a minute, so I had to cut 5 seconds out. And, you know, you might say 5 seconds, that's no big deal. Well, that might be the most important part of the whole thing that you just cut out. Anyway, I'm rambling, but I have fun, and thank you. So anyway, just subscribe and watch. Even if you go to the bathroom while it's on. I mean, I shouldn't say that because I don't want to get in trouble, but, you know, we need to get those watch hours up. And you'd be sure helping an older guy. in his future. Anyway, I'm going on too long. Thank you very much. Take care. Thanks for being here.